Okay, so this is a follow-up to my previous video in which I showed you how to calculate system usability scale scores using the responses from a participant. One of the comments in that video was, how do you calculate, or what do you do when you have system usability scale responses from several participants? How do you interpret the scores in that case? So I just want to show you today what you will do, or what you can do when you have responses from several participants. Okay, so here is an Excel sheet that contains responses from about 41 participants. So I asked 41 participants to test the usability of a system. And as you can see that each row represents one participant. So each participant has given me a response for each item on the SUS scale. So let's see how we can manage this data, or how, and in the end I'll show you how to interpret the scores of all the participants together. So I'll start off by creating new columns here. So each column will contain the partial sums that we need in order to calculate the SUS score. So let's start with creating a column called X, and then a column called Y, X0, Y0, and then SUS. And then I also want to have a column for the grade. X is supposed to contain the sum of all the odd number questions. So we're just going to sum all the odd number questions, and it's really easy. You just start sum, then select all the odd number responses, and this is it. Now Y is supposed to contain all the sum of all the even numbered responses. Okay, and now I calculate X naught. X naught is supposed to be X minus 5. Y naught is supposed to be 25 minus Y. And here we have X naught and Y naught. And then we are supposed to calculate SUS. And SUS is supposed to be the sum of X and Y. So we can use the sum function of Excel to do this, times 2.5. Okay, so our first participant gave about 77.5 score to the system that we were assessing. And now we'll calculate a grade. So this is the table that tells us how to interpret the scores. So we know that if it's less than 51, we're supposed to give a grade of 5. If it's between 51 and 68, we give a grade of D, and so on and so forth. So we are going to just use these numbers to write down our if statement, the nested if statement. Okay. Coming back to the Excel sheet, we know that if this score is less than 51, we give grade of 4. So we'll start off with the smallest grade, and then we'll just graduate to the bigger one. So if this is true, if P2 is less than 51, then we give the grade of F. Otherwise, we do another test. We test whether this grade is less than 68. Okay, if it's less than 68, then we give a grade of D. Otherwise, we do another test, and that's if this is equal to 68, we give a grade of C. Okay, if not, then we do another test. if this is less than 80.3, then we give a grade of B. Otherwise we just give a grade of A. Okay, so now we close all the if statements. I just put extras, but just to make sure, but I think this should do. Okay, one more thing, these have to be within quotes. Okay, all right, so we know that this grade means B, this score means B, a grade of B. Okay, so that's good. So that means we are, let's see if this is correct. This is in fact B. So yeah, so if it is less than, if it's between 68 and 80.3, then it's supposed to be B, and that's correct. Okay, all right, so now we are just going to, we have our formula is already developed, so now we'll just copy and paste it for all the other participants. And now we have grades and scores for all the participants. And what do we do now? What do we do with all these numbers that we are seeing? Okay, so what we can do is we can calculate some descriptive statistics. So we can do a mean. We can also calculate the standard deviation. We can calculate the minimum value, the maximum value. Then what we can do is we can also count the number of A's that we are getting, B's, C's, D's, and F's. So now we can report our average SUS score. We can say the average SUS score is 62.8 with this 13.14 standard deviation. Mean value is 27.5, maximum is 92.5. And so actually by looking at the distribution of the grades, we'll probably have to do this study. We'll have to probably recruit more participants, because as you can see, this is a bimodal distribution. The number of B's and D's are very close, quite close to each other. So we should probably recruit some more participants to get a final SUS score. Okay. So this is it, and I hope this was helpful. Thanks for watching.